Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, hope you're all doing okay. I thought today I'd have another crack at Train Simulator and another crack at the S&DJR. So last time I did a little bit of a run just to sort of get used to the route, or at least a portion of it, but it was a bit of a cop-out. I was in a diesel, I can't remember which diesel, I think it was class 40 or something like that. Anyway, it wasn't much of a challenge, it was more just throttle, brake, stop in the right place, and that was that. So today I thought I would use one of the staples of the S&DJR, and that's of course the 7F, beautiful 280 freighter. I've set this up for about a 20-minute run, more or less, from Evercrach, or Evercreech, I'm not absolutely sure how to pronounce it, to Masbury there. Yeah, I think we're alright. Shall we go with an autumn look? Yeah, I don't know what that's going to do, probably it's going to change the trees or whatever. But yeah, let's give this a try. I've set us up a small consist of just 4 Mark 1 coaches for the 7F. Don't want too much of a challenge, obviously, because it is quite a steep route. So right, I don't know if I've ever driven the 7F on video before, certainly haven't driven it for a long time. Let me see if I can get up perhaps a menu or something like that. No, I think that'll be alright. Yeah, we'll bring up the heads up, we'll leave the heads up on like that, yeah, there we go. Yes, so let's have a look at some of these controls then, see if I can't figure them out. So that's clearly the regulator. We've got this, oh that's the injector, so we'll get to that if we need to. This... that's the train brake, we've just got to find the reverser then. Oh, it's down here. Is it? Yeah, there it is. So I think that's all we need more or less to get started, don't we? So should we give this a little bit of a go? Where's the whistle? Is that it? There we go. Oh, of course, I won't be able to turn it back off again, unless I hold it there. Honestly. Right, hang on, spacebar. There we go. Right, let's have a quick look then. Let's take a look at this consist. Oh, okay, interesting. Green coaches. Right, let's give this a try then. How far have we got? Okay, so 7.73 miles. Hopefully that'll be doable. Right, let's give this a try. Right, so we'll wind the reverser forwards. There we go. Gives a little bit of regulator. Not too much. And let's get these train brakes off. Now, where's the brake gauge? Must be this one. Yep, I guess it must be. It's moving. Right, are we moving? That's the important part. Yes, we're starting to. Alright, let's set this back to running just so we're not wasting steam. As you might remember, I do have a tendency to waste steam, so that's something I've got to try and watch. And so speaking of that, what's this? Is this the pressure? Boiler pressure, perhaps? Or is it this one? Not too sure. Well, we'll keep an eye on both and we'll figure it out. Trouble is, there's actually very low resolution, isn't there, on the gauges, so you can't really make out the fine print. Anyway, we seem to be moving alright, starting alright. Let's wind the reverser back slightly. Open the regulator a little bit more. I don't know if we've got cylinder drain cocks on this that we can use. What's that? Fireman increase D. Okay, that's something to do with the injector. Let's have a look round. What else have we got? It's quite simple actually, isn't it, compared with the likes of the standards and everything. There's not an awful lot to get your head around with this one, which is quite nice. Right, what kind of gradient? One in basically flat here, aren't we? Which is good. We're getting a bit of a speed up here. The limit is 25, but hopefully it will increase as time goes on. Let's have a look, hopefully. Let's keep winding this back. Put it up to 50, I say. You do get an impression of power from this though, don't you? I think it was the Pania I tried or something like that. Terrible idea, of course, on the S&DJR with all the gradients. But yeah, this thing seems to have a lot more power, which of course it will do if it was designed for this railway. Having said that, we seem to be stuck at 12 miles an hour, and I think I can hear a safety valve going off, which means we could perhaps be a little more wasteful with steam. Well, not wasteful, but we could perhaps use a little bit more. Right, so put that to 40. Let's open this up. Give it 70. There we are, she's climbing now, look at that. Speed down here, by the way, if you're not familiar with Train Simulator. Right, hang on, I'm being deafened here. The safety valve is extremely loud. Hopefully it's not too loud on the recording, I won't know until I'm finished. It's quite nice, quite an exposed cab actually. If you're standing just behind the reverser here, you actually wouldn't be covered at all, would you? Looking at that. No, just about. Looking at them. Anyway, it is a beautiful railway, isn't it, the old S&DJR. There's a turntable there. Can't remember if we saw that last time. Possibly, possibly. Right, starting to hit a bit of a gradient, if I'm not much mistaken. That's 1 in 200. Shouldn't be devastating, but it might be a challenge, who knows. Right, oh, we're speeding. Oh, drat. I'm not used to hitting 25 miles an hour in a steamer on this railway, put it that way. Right, there we go. But I can see a 70 limit coming up soon, so fingers crossed we'll be able to get some decent speed out of this for a change. Don't know if we're going to go as quick as we did in the Class 40, and my goodness gracious, look at the gradient coming up. That's certainly going to be interesting, isn't it? I can still hear some gas, I can still hear some pressure releasing. Right, I think that must be the pressure, if not that one. It's just annoying, you can't quite read it. Oh well, not to worry. Right, we're slowing down, which I suppose makes sense, because we're not... Well, yeah, 1 in 66, so it's getting quite tight is the old gradient now. Are we still speeding up? Yep, we are speeding up, so that's not bad. We're accelerating, that's not too bad. If I hover over this, will it tell us what this is? I wonder if it's dropping, isn't it? Whatever it is. Yeah, it's clearly dropping, so I bet that's the pressure then, knowing me. We are slowing down. Right, so this calls for more drastic measures. We'll set the reverser full forward. Well, not full forward, I don't think that's a good idea, is it? No, it's not a good idea. 40, here we go, I'll tell you what, we're going to grind to a halt, I bet you money. Uh-oh. How's the pressure? Pressure's dropping a little bit. But then again, we've got a 1 in 50 gradient, so it is going to struggle, isn't it? And that, coupled with the fact that I'm not a good driver, is probably not going to help things. Right, what do I need to do here? I think we can leave the... yeah, we'll leave the regulator where it is. See if we can balance this. There we are, that's accelerating us very slightly. But there is a slight concern that we might be wasting steam with 71% on the regulator. Just depends how long this gradient goes on for. It might be quite a while, I certainly can't see the end of it on the old heads up down there, so ooh. Could get a little bit rough this, potentially. We're speeding up though, I'm impressed. It does better than the Panier, put it that way. And I was considering putting 8 coaches on the back of this, which I'm glad I didn't now. Yeah, we're speeding up alright. What do we press here to get the other heads up, just to get an idea of... Right, so we are wasting steam here slightly. It's falling a little bit. So I could perhaps get away with winding the reverser down a touch, perhaps. We'll have to look at that. Ooh, what was that? Did I hear a whistle? Oh, it must have been my imagination. I could have sworn I heard a whistle. There we are, that's mine. It's quite a nice little toot, isn't it, on this one, on the 7F. Not bad. I'm going to have to use a spacebar for that. I do like to use the mouse when I'm filming, just because it makes things a little bit more visually interesting rather than just tapping away on the keyboard. Right. Well, the pressure's not getting dreadful, if that is indeed the pressure. Just double check this. This hasn't really moved, so I don't know what that is. 40, what will that be? It does say pressure. When I apply the brakes, we'll look at that and see if that's got anything to do with the brakes, but I thought this was something to do with that. Vacuum, that says. So that could be brakes. I am pretty ignorant, aren't I, when it comes to these. Hey, I tell you what, the gradient's flattened out a little bit. It looks like it's going to get steeper again shortly, but oh well. Right, well, I'll tell you what then. Let's see if we can get... Oh no, that hasn't worked. Which way do I need to go? We need to wind this down. Oh right, okay, no, it's the gradient again. That's what's done it. Oh blimey, we've got a 1 in 50. 1 in 50 is not pretty. Keep winding this up until we start to at least maintain speed. How's the pressure looking? Ah, you see now we've done it now. Come on, don't stop. If we stop, we stop. You know, I can't do much about it, to be honest. It might not be a bad idea, actually. We can build up some steam, because it is falling. Let's have a look. What do we press? There we go. Oh, we're gaining steam now, so that's not so bad. Momentary blip there. I'll be right back in just a second once the steam's built up again, and we'll try that again. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I managed to find the control for the blower. Where was it? Just to show you. This one here. So that is definitely getting the pressure back up. In fact, that'll be the safety valve now going off. It's given you a laugh anyway, I'm sure, to see ignorant old me trying to do this, but I think we've now got enough pressure where we can give this a go. I think really the big thing is going to be just getting the balance right between reverser and regulator, but you know, let's give this a shot. So a little bit of reverser, regulator here even. I'm getting mixed up now. No, we need to release the brakes. There we go. And yeah, this has got to be the brake gauge because it climbs and, well, it changes every time I mess with the brakes. So yeah, pretty sure that's what that is. Set this to running once the needle has settled. There we are. Hang on, I reckon that brake gauge then was sort of, I don't know if the brakes were actually fully released before. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't think it was as far released as that before. Anyway, interesting. So here we go. We're starting to creep. I can perhaps give us a bit more on the old regulator. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to use the controls, but I'm going to bring them up just so that we can see how much steam we're wasting. I suppose it is going to be reasonably wasteful when we first start. No, I can't wind the regulator back that far. Come on, let's have it. Let's give it a fair bit of regulator. There we are. Well, we're accelerating, so that's the thing. It's this I'm looking at here. This is the sort of PSI indicator, and as long as it's climbing, we're okay. Alright, a bit more of the old regulator. Not too much more. And we can start to wind back the reverser. I think that's how you do it anyway. Obviously, as is quite clear, I'm not a driver in any way, shape or form. Alright, accelerating. That's good. Now the pressure's so high, I'm not so bothered about wasting steam. If it starts to drop, which of course it is doing, but if it drops dramatically, I'll have to modify the way we're doing things. Actually, we seem to be speeding up quite nicely, considering the gradient. Let's drop this down to 55%, shall we? Sounds like a reasonable figure to me. Yeah. If there's one thing I remember, you don't need to have the regulator on high. If I'm remembering that correctly. Oh, I might as well shut the fireplace while we're at it. The fireplace, look at him. And his terminology, I don't know. Might as well leave the blower on though, it seems to be helping. Right, let's keep winding this back. I think it's just practice, isn't it? To be honest, I don't do very much Train Simulator, as you can tell, when I'm not filming it. So I perhaps ought to just do it more often, didn't I? But this seems to be good. Look, I mean, we're building pressure. We are accelerating, albeit minorly. But, you know, it's a very, very steep gradient, so it can't be helped, can it? It's not a motor car. Anyway, let's do a bit of a time lapse, see if we can get some of this time passed. I think the ETA has been slightly moved off kilter by my terrible driving, but yeah, we'll see. Tell you what, I wish I was coming down this hill. That would be almost heaven, wouldn't it? Right, so we're starting to lose a little bit of steam now, so I'm going to have to perhaps sacrifice a little bit of our speed, which is already sort of happening. Starting to lose it a bit here, aren't I? Hopefully not, but yeah. We are slowing down and losing steam, which is a little bit unfortunate. Go on. A bit more regulator. There we are. Somehow that is causing us to gain steam again. Not sure how, but I guess we're not slowing down dramatically either. Okay, that's good. 50% regulator then, that's something to remember on this gradient. Oh yeah, and actually the PSI is climbing crazily. That's good. If we're maintaining speed, that's good. Happy with that. Right, well, it reckons we'll be there in 10 minutes. 4.66 miles, is that? Yeah. Blimey, that doesn't sound like very long. Travel 5 miles. Well, we'll trust them. We'll trust them in their calculations. I think we are actually speeding up as well, and we've still got a 1 in 50. I'm surprised at. Trouble is, we're also kind of running low on water as well, which is probably why the pressure's climbing so dramatically. So we're going to have to get that filling up again soon, but I think we'll try and get as much out of it as possible. Yeah, that's probably why, look. That'll be why, if we're running low. Tell you what then, might as well make the most of it, eh? Get some more speed out of it. It does say 17% full though, so I mean that's not bad, is it? It's not going to blow up, I hope. I don't know what is a safe level and what is not, I'm not sure. If it blows up, it will be entertaining, that's for sure. Right, well we're still gaining a lot of pressure, so we might as well use it to our advantage. I like this actually. Keep the water level low, that's a good tip. Don't expect that's the way you should do it. It's a bit, well, a bit dangerous, isn't it? But we'll see. It'll be interesting to find out how it does affect the climbing pressure if we open up the injectors. Could try it. Once we get up a decent speed, I might try it. Obviously, it is gonna stop it because it's gonna cool things down, obviously. But I don't know the extent of it. We'll have to try that at some point. Here, oh, just gone under a bridge. We're going to have to do it soon, aren't we? Because it is dropping 15% water tank. Speeding up alright though. I'll tell you what, we can still get some more out of it. Oh no, it's not. It's a bit too high. Is that any good? No, a bit higher. Right, what do you reckon? When it gets to 10% tank, we'll have to probably open up the old... Oh yeah, safety valve's still going off. Has this got a working safety valve on it? No, you can't see anything coming out. Can't see anything between the frames really either. Oh well, I'm not reviewing the thing, am I? 12%. Yeah, we're going to have to open it up soon, open up those injectors. But we've squeezed some decent speed out of it actually, and what goes up must come down. We've been climbing for quite a few miles, a couple at least. Right. Yeah, I'll have to remember this. Let the water level drop. Don't worry about keeping it topped up. I wonder if this game does have the facility to cause explosions and things. You know, if you let the water level get too low, because surely that would happen, wouldn't it? Well, it'll blow out. There's some sort of plug, isn't there, that would melt and blow out or something. If I remember my Fred Dibner correctly, I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think it's something like that. It gets too hot, it melts and puts the fires out. Puts the fire out, something along those lines. Right, well we've hit the flat, which sounds like a good time actually to open up the tank. We're going to be speeding up now, whatever happens, aren't we? There we go. We were only flat very briefly, we've got another gradient, but it's not as bad as 1 in 50, so hopefully we'll be okay there. And luckily the injectors seem to be doing their job and the tank is filling very quickly, which is great. Let me shut the regulator a bit now. Keep winding this reverser back because we're speeding up beautifully. In fact, are we going downhill here? Yes, I think we are. Right, let's see if we can get a little bit closer to that 70 miles an hour then, if we can. Shouldn't be too difficult, should it? There we go. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to keep filling up that tank because I don't know how far this next gradient is going to be. If it lasts for a long time, I'll need all the water in the tank, and I certainly won't want to put the injectors on once we're going up a hill again. So, no, we seem to be accelerating all right, don't we? We're going to have to turn this down. In fact, let's turn the regulator off if we're going downhill. Because we're going to want all that pressure, and we are accelerating nicely still, so that's alright. Right, that's 20% in the tank, so let's keep this pressure building, shall we? Ooh, this is going well, I like this. I can see something that's filling me with dread. We've got a tunnel coming up and a speed limit imposed, which is 30. It's going to waste all this well-earned momentum, isn't it? Right, here we go then, starting an incline. Let's open up the regulator again. Oh, we can't do that, that's dreadful waste. What happened to getting it up to 50? There we are. That's strange. So, if you have the regulator down at about 10%, you will gain steam, and then between about 10 and 40, you waste steam, and when you get it up to 50 again, it seems to build up again. It's really strange. I'm not sure why that is. Oh well, mine is not to reason why. Well, it should be, you know, inquisitive minds and all that, but never mind. Right, just slightly concerned here that we're losing speed. I mean, we're aiming for about 30 miles an hour, really, but I reckon we're going to be below 30, which again is a bit uneconomical. If I can only maintain the speed, that's all we need, really, isn't it? Mind you, the pressure's good, so we could. No, that looks all right to me, doesn't it? That's not too bad. Right, where's this tunnel then? Is it in sight? Yes, it's in sight. Yes, I think we have been here before. I must have come here on the Class 40. If it was a Class 40. Yeah, I've got bad memory. Yep, 30. Well, that's alright. I think we did better than on the Class 40. I'm sure I got done for speeding here last time. Right, make sure the fire box is closed. There we are, a couple of whistles. Let's see what it's like inside this tunnel. To get back inside the cab. Well, I think this has been my most successful steam run so far. It's a shame about all the gradients. If I was on a flat route, I reckon I'd be mastering this. But I get the feeling that these 7Fs are really, really nice things to drive. I do get that impression. Because this seems to be better steaming than most of the other. I mean, the Bullet Pacific was a right nuisance. I'm sure with the right driver it'd be fine, but clearly that isn't me. Alright, how's this? Let's try and get some of this speed back up then, because we're going to get we're hitting 70 again soon in terms of the limit, so that's interesting. Although we've only got 1.3 miles left to do. Not that it's going to take a lot of effort to slow this train down. It's only what, 3-4 coaches? Yeah, 4 I think. To be honest, I'm quite impressed. 28 miles an hour on a 1 in 50 gradient. It's not too bad going, is it? Of course, it's what the 7Fs were built for, but the fact that I've managed to get out of that 30 or more or less, I'm quite proud of. I bet there are people that fly up here, but yeah, I'm not complaining. Believe me. Right. Well, the pressure is not growing anymore. What happens if we open up the regulator a bit more? Because you'd think, wouldn't you, that just opening the regulator would cause a huge waste. But it seems to be actually not necessarily 100% true. I'll have to look into that, I'll have to read up. Right. Well, there's our stop, I reckon, over there. 0.9 miles. So I needn't worry really, I needn't tie too much about the pressure at this point. I mean, if we grind to a halt, that will suck, but as long as we can maintain this. We are speeding up here, which is good. Yep, the gradient seems to be weakening. Right, I'm going to leave it as it is. The pressure is pretty much... I think this red line, or close to the red line at least, is the safety valve going off level. It's not too bad. Pressure is dropping, but not dreadfully. We are speeding up, which is nice. Well, since it's such a steep gradient, it's not going to take a lot, is it, to slow us down, so might as well leave it for a little while. No doubt I'll miss the station, but then again, it wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't. 9% in the tank. Might blow up before we get there, let's see. Apparently it's quite a big job to replace the plug that melts. From what I hear anyway. I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? You've got to get into the thing. Right, I'm getting a little worried about this tank here. Right, let's start to bring this to a slowdown then if I can. Yeah, need to really. Let's set this to very gentle fly. There we are, seems to be slowing down. Hopefully none of the passengers will be ejected from their seats or anything like that. Hopefully not. Right, set that back to running. Just ditch the regulator now. Here comes the platform. Hey, this is looking alright, isn't it, this? Let's release it again. See if we can get us to come in as gentle as possible. Are we releasing? Yeah, brakes are releasing. I think that's what you're supposed to do. Should make it a nice gentle stop. Obviously though, as soon as we do stop, I'm going to have to really apply. Otherwise we're going to roll back, aren't we? Although the gradient's not too bad here, which is why we're not slowing down more. Right. Where's that? Which button gets us the back of the train? See if I can figure that out. There we go. Was it 3? Yeah. Well, I reckon anywhere there would be just fine, wouldn't it? Let's do a whistle, just for the steam fans out there. What a strange, stupid thing to say. I meant people on the platform. I don't really, oh, never mind. Right, we're there. Perfect. And it's loading. Hey, look at that. Well, it wasn't embarrassingly bad that time, which means it's an improvement. I don't think I've ever actually done well on one of these routes before. So that's not too bad. That's a couple of videos on the S&DJR for you anyway. I've got a few other routes. I don't know if I've filmed all of them and put them online, so we'll have to look into that, see which ones I haven't done yet. But yeah, that isn't too bad. No doubt I was late, but I'm just glad to have gotten here, to be honest. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave me a like or even a comment if you want to get in touch. But for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Alright, cheers everybody.